With violent crime rising almost at an epidemic rate, it's really vital to take control of your own safety. My next guest can help you do just that. He's a TV commentator and host of the Experts podcast on SiriusXM. He's also a former Navy SEAL, FBI special agent, federal air marshal, and police officer. And he's also the author of a #1 Amazon bestseller called Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival. Please welcome a fellow Arkansan, Jonathan T. Gilliam. Jonathan, good to have you here, my friend.
Good to be here, Governor.
Where did the title of the book come from, Sheep No More?
Well, I think, this world and this nation is filled with sheep now, and a lot of people that believe that they're not sheep have actually been convinced not to take action, not to look at themselves and actually secure their own life. And I think when I was writing this, immediately that term sheep kept repeating itself over and over again. And, being a SEAL, we always look at ourselves as the sheepdog or the protectors of the herd. And I felt as though we need to get back in this nation, back to the point that we were, where the citizens used to be the sheepdogs for freedom. And I think that's where we need to get back. And this helps people with awareness in doing that.
I ordered your book, read your book, and one of the things that I really loved is that it's written so that the average American can understand that it's often about situational awareness.
Right.
Being aware of what's going on around you. What is the most important thing that people need to know that they don't usually practice?
Well, first of all, attacking, everything is an attack. It doesn't matter if it's a robbery, if it's a phone scam. A lot of elderly people, for instance, get scammed by these Nigerian phone scams.
You mean those aren't real?
Unfortunately,
no.
The money that you gave away it's gone. But these are scams and they're attacks, right? So people need to realize that it's not a rocket science. It is, people can actually determine who would attack, why they would do it, where it would happen, when it would happen, and how it would be carried out. And I think once people realize that they can look at themselves this way, it changes everything.
You do courses on this all the time. What is the thing people come up to you and say, I never thought of that?
It's interesting, I talk about this a lot, is the airports. When everybody, they think of the airport, the most dangerous place is where this security checkpoint is, right? And it is, they have made it more dangerous because they've actually created a funnel for everybody to go through. But the reality is where you get your bags is really the most dangerous place. It is a predictable location where literally hundreds of people will be at any given time, any given day, and if they're solely focused on getting their bag. They're not focused on anything else, and there's no security. And once I mention that in courses and even to law enforcement officers, they sit back and they realize, I've had police officers that work in the airport realize that, wow, we're not paying attention to that at all. And I think that's what gets to people, is the fact that very simple ways and locations and vulnerabilities that they could eliminate, they now discover that when they take a step back and look at it, they see it differently.
There are a lot of women who are scared to death to get out of their car, go from their car to a store. Are there ways that people who are basically vulnerable can better protect themselves against a violent, unexpected attack?
Yeah. You can look at a parking lot. Some parking lots, I would say, park further away so you can see what's going on and then walk in there. When you walk out, you can also see what's going on. Some places, I would say it's better to be closer to the door. That's up to your judgment and looking at where you're at. But in either case, before you get out of your car in a parking lot, any parking lot, because an attack can happen anywhere, you should always be aware and not in such a hurry. It takes a second to stop and look around and not get out of your car if somebody's approaching you. But like you just stated a minute ago, once people start to realize that they can actually understand what's normal and they can see it, then they can actually make that change in their minds so that they pause and look around and see what's normal, what's not, and they can secure everything in their life much, much greater like that.
You talk about in the book that we've got to teach our children, and like in my case, my grandchildren, how to be aware, because kids just sort of live in this kind of world unto themselves. I don't think most of us stop and think about teaching, specifically training children for situational awareness. What are some lessons that we should make sure our kids get?
ages 1 through 5, a child is basically a genius. They learn a language, they learn how to walk on their own.
Yeah.
So you can surely teach them that locking your window, closing your curtains, knowing who, to talk to who you know and to not who to talk to, basically. All these are things that you can teach children at a very, very young age. And that's where I ended up coming up with The Adventures of Team Little Bigs, a parent's book for children, because it takes what I've taught them in Sheep No More and it gives them a platform to teach their children through pictures at a very, very young age.
This is the main book, the one that I was talking about before, Sheep No More. And this is The Adventures of Team Little Bigs, a book for children to help them understand better how to protect themselves. Folks, we're living in a dangerous world, and unless you've got 20 minutes to sit and wait and hope the police will arrive in time to take the threat of your life away from you, I would say you probably need to be prepared to protect yourself and to be aware of what's going on around you. That's why this book is so very important, Sheep No More. Jonathan, great to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that people will get a copy of Sheep No More and The Adventures of Team Little Bigs. You can also visit jonathantgilliam.com. Check out his podcast, The Experts, for some great tips on how to protect yourself from the lies of the media elites as well as other dangers that you've got.